Hello, welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on the second Maiden's tragedy, and we've made it to Act 4. We're going to get to hear from Anselmus' wife today in Act 4, Scene 1. So we're going back to the plot that has to deal with Anselmus and his wife and Votarius. We're going to leave Gavianus and his recently deceased wife over here, and we will come back to all of that later on. But Gavianus' wife, Lady, has died at her own hand, and she's going to be interred with Gavianus' father. So now we're in Anselmus' house, and if you remember, Votarius sort of fell in love with Anselmus' wife while he was supposed to be flirting with her to test her chastity or her faithfulness, and she sort of fell in love with him, but then Anselmus comes back and Votarius is like, yes, she's faithful, so Anselmus is like, I'm good, but then Votarius saw Belarius walking through like the house grounds and thought that Belarius was going to see Anselmus' wife. So he got all angry and jealous, and he actually let slip to Anselmus that his wife might be sort of wavering in her faithfulness. So that's where we are at the start of Act 4, Scene 1. And Anselmus went running after Belarius to try to get him, but wasn't successful in doing that. So the start of Act 4, Scene 1, we are in Anselmus' house. We have Votarius and Anselmus' wife come in together, and they're obviously in the middle of an argument where she's like, how could you do that? That was so dumb of you to tell him that there was maybe something going on. And Votarius is like, well, but I did see this guy come in and walk through the court, so I thought maybe he was going to you. And she's like, that was Leonella's boyfriend that was sneaking in. He wasn't here for me, he was here for her. And she's like, the bad thing is, now that my husband thinks that I might be unfaithful, it's going to be really hard for us to be unfaithful with each other. She's like, now that he's suspicious, we're not going to be able to sneak around and do things. We need to throw him off the trail, but it's really hard now to convince him that I'm faithful since you told him that I'm not. And Votarius is like, yes, I know, and I'm sorry about that, and you're right, and there's a line in there somewhere where she's like, it's kind of silly that men think that they're the strong ones, but they're always coming to women for advice. And he's like, yeah, and it's not smart to always be putting women down. They do have some good things to say. And she says, well, then thus, sir, upholding still the same, as being emboldened by some loose glance of mine, you shall attempt, after you have placed my lord in some near closet, to thrust yourself into my chamber rudely, as if the game went forward to your thinking. Then leave the rest to me. I'll so reward thee with bitterness of words, but prithee, pardon them. My lord shall swear me into honesty enough to serve his mind all his life after. Nay, for a need, I'll draw some rapier forth that shall come near my hand, as 'twere by chance, and set a lively face upon my rage. But fear thou nothing. I too dearly love thee to let harm touch thee. So she has a plan. She has a plan for how to get Anselmus off their trail. And her plan is that Votarius should come and break into her chamber under the pretense of this was a time that the two of them were supposed to meet and have a rendezvous. But Anselmus will be hiding in a nearby closet. Votarius will have said to Anselmus, come and watch this and you'll see whether or not she's being faithful. So again, with somebody hiding in a nearby closet, what other plays does this remind you of? Votarius is to get Anselmus to hide in a closet. Then Votarius is to come storming into her chamber as if they are going to make love right there and then. And she will turn him down, vehemently turn him down. And at the end of this, she gets the idea that she'll even have a sword nearby. There will just happen to be a sword somewhere that she can pick up so she can threaten him with it, because if she threatens him with a sword, then that's really going to convince Anselmus that she's faithful and that she's not at all involved with Votarius. And the last two lines, she's like, but don't worry, I love you, I'm not actually going to hurt you. So we the audience know that this is all a ruse for Anselmus' sake, Anselmus' wife really wants to be with Votarius. And he's like, oh, that's a great idea. Okay, I'm totally in. We'll make this happen. So he goes out, but Leonella then comes in to, so now it's Leonella and Anselmus' wife in the chamber, and they get into a little bit of a spat. Leonella is like, your lordship would like to see you. And Anselmus' wife is just annoyed with Leonella. She's like, what are you doing letting your boyfriend run around this place? Like, to be seen by anyone and everyone, like to be seen in every room. Don't you know what a headache you're causing? Leonella is like, yeah, but I don't really have to listen to you. And Anselmus' wife is like, but you have more leeway than any other lady's maid anywhere. Like, no other ladies of the court let their maids bring their boyfriends in and cavort with them as they see fit. And you are absolutely abusing this privilege. So there's some butting of heads between the ladies that happens there. But Anselmus' wife is going to realize that she needs Leonella for something. So we are going to hear a monologue from her again tomorrow where she sort of puts on the brave face and gets things back on track so that she can hopefully end up with Votarius at some point. So how do you think that's going to go? I mean, this is a tragedy. Do we think we're going to get a happy couple at the end of it? Anyway, come on back tomorrow for more and we'll find out. Mwah.